Hello, my name's John from Cooking Around the World, and we'll be staying put today because I'm going to be making these beautiful hot cross buns. Okay, let's just get cooking. Okay, here's a quick look at our ingredients: some ground cloves, cinnamon, mixed spice, nutmeg, beautiful spices to go into these hot cross buns, yeast, a bit of sugar and some salt. So what we're going to do first is get the yeast going, and while that's underway we'll measure up the dry ingredients. Okay, there's my warm water. I'm going to add a couple of teaspoons of my caster sugar to that. I've already measured out 115 grams of caster sugar, so I'm just taking from that. And then in that warm water, 210 mils of that warm water, we will add 2.5 teaspoons of yeast. We'll give it a good stir and leave it, and as soon as it starts foaming we'll know it's ready to use. In the meantime, we've got 800 grams of plain flour. I'm using high grade flour which has 11.5% protein, which is what you want or above. 400, 500, 600, 700, coming up to 800. Stop. Okay, that's our 800 grams. It's more than 800. Going to have to remove some of you. I've removed too much. That's about half of it, so that should be spot on. Great. Now we're going to add our dry ingredients to that: ground cloves, cinnamon, mixed spice and nutmeg. Right, I've measured out all those spices and the salt, and we're just going to stir that through so it's evenly, or as evenly distributed as possible. So I'm going to knead this in my bread maker. Save me all the bother. You can do it in using a stand mixer if you like, or you can do it by hand. There we are, that's good. I'll go and get our bread maker and then we'll get on with the rest of it. Right, so in with our foaming yeast mixture first. Then we're going to add 210 mils of milk. Right, in goes the milk. Then with that goes our caster sugar, 115 grams, less of course what I've already stolen to get the yeast going. And now I'm just going to spoon the rest of this in, and I'll come back when we put it into the bread maker. Oh, actually no, I've got some more to put in. I'll come back when I fill this up. Right, there's our butter, 115 grams. And then I've got 2 lightly beaten eggs, which I'm going to add. And whisk, because it's fairly whisk free. Now what I've done is, halfway through putting the flour into my bin that goes into the bread maker, I have stopped. I'm going to add this liquid, and then I'm going to put the rest of the flour on top. And then it can all go into the bread maker, which is where we will next convene our meeting. As you can see, I'm at maximum capacity with this bread maker. I'm now going to pop the bin into the bread maker and we're going to set it on knead, which is a 14-minute cycle, which is probably all I need. But we will have a look at it halfway through and just make sure it's combining well enough. Okay, let's turn this on. And we'll go to knead only, menu number 14, and push the start button. And I'll come back in about 7 minutes and check on it. Now, after 15 minutes, it actually looked worse than that. I had to get a thin plastic spatula in there and bring some of the liquid up from underneath. This is a small capacity bread maker, so yeah, in your bread maker you'd probably be alright. So anyway, I've agitated that and I'm going to give it another 15 minutes. Right, that looks a lot better, doesn't it? What we will do is just scrape down there. I've measured out 170 grams of fruitcake mixture, which is just dried fruits, and we'll give this 5 minutes to combine. And then we can give it a soft knead, very quick one, maybe a minute, and then leave it to rise. Okay, I've floured my board and that is heavy. This is why I use a bread maker, because kneading a kilo, near to a kilo, actually it might even be more than a kilo, can be very tiring and it can put people off making bread. Whoop. There we are, nice little Easter surprise. Now this, I don't think you can even see that. Let's adjust. Oh, you can see the bowl here. Well, I'm going to put some oil in there. Some rice bran oil, about a tablespoon. That's probably all we need. There we are. And I'm just going to swirl that around inside, stop it from sticking to the bowl while it does its first rise. There we are. I'm going to cover that and we'll leave it for around about 45 minutes. Okay, firstly grab a baking tray, the biggest one you've got, line it with some baking paper and have that at the ready for the hot cross buns. Now I'm going to get our dough and see how much it's risen. Okay, dust your board lightly with some flour and then we'll just turn this out. Now that's really it's got a lot of air in it. What we're going to do is we want to get 24 hot cross buns out of this, so let's halve it and let's halve it again, and out of each of these we're going to get 4. They're still quite sticky, they still might need to not be as hydrated. Anyway, let's get the air out of them. Now we want 6, so we cut them in half and get 3 out of each half. And we need a little more flour. Right, 1, 2, 3. Now each one of these you want to get into, still quite tacky. So tuck it underneath until you get a nice round ball like that. That's perfect. And keep going until you've done 24 of these. Or until you've gone completely mad. I'll come back once I'm completely mad. Okay, there they are, all lined up. So I've got a row of 6 there. I've just got another 3 rows to go. Okay, there they are, all done. Now they are varying in size, I know, a little bit, but don't worry, people are not going to notice. If you've got people coming round and you give them some hot cross buns, the only question in their mind is going to be, is there going to be enough butter? That's all they'll be thinking about. Alright, anyway, we're going to leave these now for 45 minutes and hopefully they will double in size. Then we can put a cross on them, or not, and pop them in the oven. And now they're getting a little bit bigger. I guess in about another 15-20 minutes. Okay, we're going to put flour and sugar, 75 grams of flour and 10 grams of sugar and about 5 tablespoons of water. Mix that together to form a paste and then come back to me. To give the colour of this, the light has failed me, so I'm using lights from inside. Take this and snip off that corner. Now, this is the easiest way. So I'm going to get across them, rather finish all of this, because I'm running out. So I need to do. Right, the size of the I'm saying I'm running out. There we have it, and it is up to heat, which is 160 degrees. I'm going to put these in and leave them in between 12 and 15 minutes. And there you are, all out of the oven. While they're still hot, I've got some honey and melted butter here, which I'm going to brush over the top of these beautiful, beautiful hot cross buns. And as soon as I finish that, I think we deserve a tasting, don't we? Okay, I've got them all ready here to try, and they look absolutely divine. I'm going to take one of these. Extraordinary. Wow. Look, I hope you enjoyed watching this, and I hope you make them, and if you do, leave a comment, tell me how you got on. Okay, catch you on my next recipe.